Let's speak to Robert Kelly now. He's a professor of political science and diplomacy at Pusan National University. Joins us live now from Seoul. Mr. Kelly, one American spokesman described this move by the US to delay the missile tests as logical, prudent and responsible. But is it something that you might have expected the US to do?
Yes, I do. I think it's a wise move. The United States took a couple steps earlier in this, particularly the flyby of the B-2 stealth bomber that rattled nerves. And I think people now sort of think that it's a good idea for the United States to step back a little bit. And so this is wise. It doesn't really detract from the American nuclear deterrent in any way. And it's not really related. Minuteman III would not really be used in Korea unless it was an extreme circumstance. So it's not related to the crisis. So it's not a major concession.
But as a diplomatic move, might it not encourage North Korea to push the international community further?
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the constant debate in these sorts of brinksmanship games with the North, right? Is how much do you push back? You know, when you do push back, are you encouraging that? Do they back down, or does that encourage them to go further? And the United States is trying to send sort of that set of mixed signals. On the one hand, right, conciliation, we're not going to have the launch. On the other hand, if you push too hard, we'll send B-2s and the global hawk. So it's tough to know where the North's lines are. In part, it's harder to know because the northern leader is new, so we don't quite know if he knows how to play this brinksmanship game as well as his father did.
But I guess you have to feel that this is just chest puffing from Kim Jong-un, because there's no sign of troops building up, is there?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I agree with that. I do not think that the North Koreans want war. I think this is important. The North Koreans will lose very quickly. This will be a repeat. This will not be a repeat of 1950. This will be a lot more like the Gulf Wars, where the United States would use tremendous air power and the North Koreans would be defeated rather quickly. So a war would be suicidal. I think most of this is meant for internal consumption to bolster the military under the new order, under the new Kim.
Yeah, this theory, on the other hand, that Kim Jong-un was perhaps, I mean, everybody's trying to second guess it, obviously, because nobody really knows, but this theory that Kim Jong-un was trying to appease the military by being forceful in this way, ahead of bringing in reforms, it all seems a bit thin and unlikely now, doesn't it?
Well, under Kim's father, the military was raised in its constitutional role was raised to something we call military first politics. Songun is the term in Korean. And a lot of people think that the new Kim realizes that that has also become extraordinarily expensive. The military has become a parasite on the national budget. And people think that he might be trying to sort of push the country toward more sustainable economics. And this is the army pushing back, not sort of trying to defend its privileges. That's my own read.
And what about, it's hard again to read what the average North Korean person is thinking about what's going on, but how would you assess that? How would they read into this whole affair?
That is actually a very good question. I've been to North Korea, and it's very, very hard to actually get a perception of what North Koreans think because the totalitarian state is everywhere. I mean, tourists in North Korea are accompanied by someone from the State Security Service. My sense is that the North Korean population probably realizes that a war against the United States will be a mistake, but that is genuinely speculative. I think more important is that the elites in North Korea, also particularly the army, they also realize that a war against the Americans would be suicidal.
All right, Robert Kelly, we'll leave it there. Great to get your perspective. We appreciate that. That's Robert Kelly, Professor of Political Science and Diplomacy at Pusan University. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you can get more information on the